Dude, I told you our faces are huge.
So big.
Yeah. So, we're back. Thank you for watching. As always, I am Jeremy.
I'm AJ.
And let's jump into the news. Well, if you watched yesterday's show, you know we talked about gay marriage and, Obama supporting it. And if you didn't, go check it out. It's really long, and you can cut to, like, the middle to just catch that part, if that's all you really care about. But we were also reminded that we hadn't covered Amendment 1 in North Carolina by one of my dear friends. Partially because the show had run so long that we didn't really want to make it any longer.
Yeah.
But also because I wanted to separate the two things. Because for me, they are two separate issues. Like, Obama taking a stance on it and North Carolina taking a stance on it. Because Obama taking a stance on it, honestly, for me, I do think it's a good thing he took a stance. Because his absence of taking a stance on most things is what made me angry about having voted for him back in the day. Now, in North Carolina, of course, they came out with Amendment 1, which has very, very strict language about what marriage is and what North Carolina itself will recognize as a legitimate union of people. And as it stands, they won't even recognize civil unions. They won't recognize domestic partnerships. People who are common law married didn't actually go through the steps of being married but have been together for so long they are married. They have a hole there where normally they would be covered by domestic laws, domestic partnership laws, and be able to file domestic violence disputes and whatever. But
not anymore.
Under the law as it is, it's not, and that's wrong.
That is infringing on rights, which, if you once again throw back to yesterday, is something we're completely against.
Yeah. Well, I mean, lifestyle choices we don't have to agree with because we have opinions. That's just we're people. That's the way it is. But
I disagree with smokers.
I disagree with smokers too. And that's the thing is it's a lifestyle choice, and you can disagree with a lifestyle choice, but don't infringe on somebody's right to make a choice, even if you think it's wrong. Just don't make the choice yourself, and try and get your friends not to make that choice. But moving on, so that's kind of my stance on it. AJ?
Yeah, I'm actually right there with you. And once again, throw back to yesterday. You start infringing on people's rights to that extent. I'm against it. And actually, Romney, to go on to the next story, has a very similar stance on things. He is against gay marriage laws being put as far as nationwide. He has said that he'd rather have the states do it individually. As he says with a lot of major laws like that, he sees that as a state's job. Major laws should be done locally. But more so, he's reaffirming on this just to say, look, this is my position. He's taken a hold of the bait, I guess, that Obama gave him and is running with it. So, unfortunately, we at least have that much to really differentiate the two on. So, yeah, good news for us, at least.
Yeah, right? At least there's something polar opposite about them. Well, considering Obama's trying to make himself a middle of the road Democrat, and Romney's trying to make himself a middle of the road Republican, so
kind of makes him a little close.
Yeah,
at least they have something really big and different.
But moving on, a story that I didn't want to cover yesterday because yesterday we didn't really know much about it. A plane in Indonesia that is a test plane for a Russian manufacturer, which Russians really haven't made new airplanes since the fall of the Soviet Union, at least.
It's been a while.
20 or so years, just a little while. But, they tested this test plane, flew it to Indonesia, and then on its second flight, flying out of Indonesia, about 20 some odd miles out, they lost radar contact and radio contact with it, and thusly today found the wreckage of this plane. 50 or so people were on it, And it is kind of sad because, I mean, these were potential buyers. These were journalists, people who were excited. Russia's doing something technological, which back in the Soviet Union days was kind of a travesty all around. Anytime they tried making something that was like a copy of anyone else's thing, they just didn't really do a spectacular job. And so...
Unless it was a nuke.
Unless it was a nuke. And then arms in general, actually.
Yeah.
Any armaments they were kind of gung-ho about, and just about everything else kind of sucked.
Everything they made blew up. Anyway.
Aw. See, I was going to try not to make a Russian joke, but, you know, it's there. He did it. Done. Done with that.
I'm a terrible person.
He is a terrible person. It's just, just wanted to be sad about that because... You know, people losing their lives is sad. You know, bomb blew up in Syria today. Killed like 50 people. Kind of sucks. Moving on.
So, all the way back to the other side of the world again, to Miami.
Yeah.
And actually a couple others as well. Scientists have given orangutans iPads. And these iPads are connected to other orangutans in other zoos. And
orangutans are Skyping. I'm just going to throw that out there. FaceTime, Skype, whatever it is.
And they're learning. Their vocabulary is growing. They're really enthusiastic about this. Well, kind of. The kid orangutans and the teenager orangutans are really excited about this. The couple elders they have absolutely no interest.
These darn kids and their darn iPads. Seriously.
So, yeah, if you didn't know...
It couldn't be more human-like.
It's crazy. Orangutans are actually some of the most intelligent animals out there besides us humans. So this isn't entirely surprising to me, but still cool.
And as we continue circling the world back around to China, kind
of.
Well, China-ish. Our own dear Federal Reserve has decided to... So I'm going to go take care of that. And he's going to talk about how China just bought a U.S. bank in Asia. So...
All right. Do I need to cover the rest of this?
For now.
Okay, I'll do what I can. Fatherhood comes first. All right, so yeah, you heard that right. The Fed has cleared one of China's largest banks, one of their big four that they have, to buy out, let's see, Commercial Bank of China is the name of the bank. I'm not even seeing the actual name of the bank they're taking over. It doesn't matter. Either way, this is kind of creepy to me. This is not a good thing, because if you didn't know, we are in a large amount of debt with China. They could kind of take over financially a bit. We're actually more in debt to ourselves than anybody else, but our second biggest debtor is that communist nation. So... yeah, not good. I'm not sure what's going through the Fed's minds at this point to allow something like this. All right, on to the next one. Do you want to help out? Jeremy had to... okay, Josh doesn't want to help out. Anyway, okay, so there's a teen over in... I forgot the name of the place. Well, Florida. Okay, we'll just say Florida. Her name is Samantha... I'm not even going to try the last name. Look at in the link down below. Either way, she has a rather rare disease, disorder, that makes it so she can't eat. She can eat potatoes, but that's about it. Literally, her immune system will attack any food that comes down her esophagus and make her violently ill. Turns out there's actually about 1 in 1,000 people have this disease, and the name is... eosinophils of the esophagus. The great thing, I think, for me is that even though she does have to eat through a feeding tube that is surgically implanted, she actually wants to become a chef. And, oh, by the way, that's Josh.
I'm Josh.
He teleports. Anyway, so she actually wants to go into the culinary arts, and from all reports... is actually the best in her class so far, even though she can't even taste it, because if she does, some food might go down her esophagus and, well, make her violently ill. So Good on you, Samantha. Good job. And on to the next story.
Back here in Houston, a man, Joseph Farley, hopefully due to humors related to Chris Farley, he was jailed on Thursday for a misdemeanor, an interesting one at that. He was riding naked on a unicycle. An exact quote from the police was, "Obviously, he wasn't armed, that we could tell."
Oh my goodness. The thing that really gets me here is what was going through this guy's mind. Hopefully it was for humor, like you were saying.
It says here that he was not under the influence of alcohol or any other substance that they could tell. And
he was just doing it.
Yeah.
And the thing that really gets me, and I think really why I want to cover this is because, once again, kind of a throwback. Woman gets naked in an airport, they put her in a mental hospital, no charges. Guy gets naked in an airport or along the side of the road on a unicycle, they charge him, no mental hospital even considered.
Yeah, and the bond was only at $1,500. Not bad.
Still big for me, huh? Jeez. Either way, on to the last story of the day. Sorry Jeremy couldn't be here for this one, but you'll see why in a minute. And once again, TSA. Now, Jeremy says he has good friends in the TSA, good people in the TSA, and intelligent people in that security administration. And yet, stuff like this keeps coming out. A family was kicked off of a plane recently. They are of Middle East descent. They are Islamic, though they have lived in New Jersey for their whole life. So they figured, okay, they're probably just profiling a bit. Well, it turns out it wasn't because of the dad. It wasn't because of the mom wearing the full cover and everything. It was because the 18-month-old daughter was on the no-fly list for being a terrorist.
I'm not even sure how that can even happen.
Can a little 18-month-old carry a bomb? I don't know. Much less know what it does. I mean, geez, really, people? So, yeah, they are still calling a bit of racism here, profiling, which I actually do agree profiling is somewhat needed. I mean, the Israeli airport uses it, and it worked just fine. But this isn't profiling. This is sheer stupidity. Anyway, if I go too much on this, I'm just going to keep on ranting and keep you guys over time. Thanks again for watching Extraordinary Times. Thanks again to all the people who participate. Pseudonym, Tyler Clark, DeathGoddessRuth, Josh for filling in real quick. Yeah, I'm AJ.
I'm Josh.
These are Extraordinary Times. Be aware.
I need more pants.